Hello, baddies and daddies. Welcome back to the Gritty Girl Podcast. There might be some daddies that hop on here and watch, but mostly I've probably got baddies that watch this channel. But either way, it's fine. Welcome back. I'm so glad you guys are here. Back at the Gritty Girl Podcast, where I am doing episode 2 of my I Am Enough series. And today, this one might strike a nerve with a couple of you. Today we're talking about watering dead plants, okay? And I don't mean the greenery that you see over my shoulder. I mean literal plants in your life. People, places, things, connections, energies, just all encompassing all around us. We're constantly pouring into those things. And I think it's time, a lot of us, myself included, I've already gotten kind of a jump start, but a lot of us need to quit watering dead plants. So, what I'm about to tell you, sit back, get your favorite drinky, and let's have this discussion, this much needed discussion that needs to be had. I promise you won't be disappointed. I, earlier this year, decided I wanted to try my hand again at growing and maintaining some greenery. Now, I can't say it's been a total flop. I still have some things that are alive. I got some discounted mint and rosemary, which they're not looking so great right now, so it's probably not the best example. But for a year now, I actually got it in August of last year, 2025. It was toward the end of the summer, end of the season, and these plants looked horrible. And I went to this local co-op, and I got them for like next to nothing, potted them, and they've been doing great up until probably 2 to 3 weeks ago. And it just was a matter of keeping them out of the rain. We had gotten quite a bit of rain. I can't remember if it was like beginning of June, late June, somewhere in there. There was like a couple of weeks we got a substantial amount of rain. And I had forgotten to bring them in. They got heavily watered, so some of them didn't make the cut. But one of my plants, this wasn't the discounted one of my plants, though, I had got back in the spring. It was a pink tomato plant. It was doing okay. I think I ended up getting one small, teeny tiny tomato off of it a couple of months back, but it unfortunately did not survive the summer. I think it actually had gotten overwatered. That's one that I had left out and it got overwatered. And you're probably like, Manda, it's so hard to kill a tomato plant, but I never do well with tomatoes. Um, Finally, probably the other day, it had been sitting in my office because I brought it in to dry out, and it dried out too much, and it literally passed away. R.I.P. tomato plant. So I finally got it outside, got the dead stuff out, and of course I had quit watering it once I saw that it was like I had to call time of death on that. Like there was no resuscitating that plant at all. Um, so it kind of reiterated that whole thing kind of reiterated to me I needed to talk about this topic because not only was this a topic that I had planned a while back, but here more recently I was thinking about the whole dead plants thing, like not greenery, people, things, connections, energy, places, all the things. And I was reminded, I was like, up until about 2 to 3 months ago, I would say, there was a lot of dead plants that I was watering myself. People, spaces, thoughts, habits, patterns, a lot of things that I was continuously pouring into that were not pouring back into me. And the problem with watering these dead plants, like trying to keep things going, trying to keep things alive, when clearly there's another plan for this connection. There's another plan for this relationship. There's another plan for the plans that you had, right? The issue with continually watering something that can't be revived or isn't going to work toward being revived and coming back is oftentimes we find that we're not intentional. So we're not setting out, we're not starting off our day, we're not starting off our week with like, okay, what is the plan for the week? What am I doing? Like, where am I going? What are the things I'm going to be doing and experiencing? Is this person going to reach back out to me? Is this person going to keep the plans they made? Like, kind of going back and forth. So we're not intentional. We're just going through the motions. And sometimes when we're not intentional, that's where we just energy dump. Like, we're constantly being the ones to reach out first. We're constantly being the ones to make plans first. We're constantly just go, 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 and worry, worry, worry. We will worry ourselves sick trying to keep something going and maintained when something clearly has already moved on or we've outgrown, right? Um, so then all that energy, that time, those efforts, everything that you have poured into this situation, into this person, whatever it is, guys, the sad reality of this is when you're watering dead plants over time, you can't get that time and energy back. And that is often where we become most exhausted. Something happens, there's always that light bulb moment. There's always that moment in time that comes around for us where we're like, you know what? I don't want this for myself anymore. And I'm speaking in generics because again, it can be anything. So as you're listening to this, as you're watching and taking this all in, you may have multiple, like several different irons in the fire here. You may have a connection, you may have a job, you may have a situationship, you may have a person, a friendship, or all at once where it's like, man, I'm spread thin. Like, I'm spread so thin, I don't know where to start. I don't know how to find me again. I don't know where to get that happiness from again. And the reason for that is you have poured and poured and poured over here, sprinkled over here. You've tried to be everything for everybody. And what ends up happening when you're trying to help everybody in every situation, you end up helping nobody. I heard that a long time ago, and it still kind of resurfaces and comes back around to speak to me. When you try, let that sink in for a second. And this does tie to watering dead plants, dead or dying plants. When you try to be available and help everybody, you end up helping nobody. Because at some point, the thoughts and the plans that you had will come crashing down. You will crash out, or you will crash down, or you will shut down. And when you do that, it's almost like you're starting at square one. Okay, I have this situation. I have this moment where I realize that what I'm doing is no longer working. I'm pouring, I'm feeding, I'm nurturing something that isn't pouring, feeding, and nurturing back to me. Now, before I get anybody in my inbox, because I'm sure I'll get some comments and which is fine to have a conversation. That's the whole reason that I'm doing this. Sorry, that was my work computer. The whole reason I'm doing this is to start having a conversation. Somebody's going to come in here and be like, well, Amanda, that can be a very selfish way of thinking. You should always do and be available and give selflessly and put yourself out there to a point. To a point. When you start thinking about the connections, the energies, the things that you're pouring into, and you realize that you're not getting an ROI or a return on investment. Not that you should always seek out to do something to get something in return, but when you find yourself getting anxious, you're losing sleep, you're having to rearrange your schedule, you're having to rearrange your life, your feelings, your thoughts, your morality, the things that you hold close and dear to you, when you start to realize that is starting to cost you those things, it's too damn expensive and you got to shut it down. At that point, this is no longer about being selfless and doing cheerful acts of service and being helpful, and you can overextend if you're not careful. And that's where a lot of us are in trouble right now. We've overextended, we're running on empty, almost like my water cup is almost running on empty. At some point, I'm going to have to fill this back up, right? I got to go in the kitchen, I got to get my Brita out, and I've got to fill this back up so I can keep hydrating my body, hydrating my cells and my muscles, and so I can keep going. We have to have water, right? You are no different than a plant. You need sunlight, you need water. You need some type of nurturing. We need that nurturing. And if some way, either the things we're pouring into or the people we're pouring into, if we're not getting that back, we're eventually going to run dry. So where's your nourishment coming from? Spiritually, mentally, physically. Where are you seeking your nourishment? Where are you seeking your cup to be refilled? And if I've caught you in a thought and you're right there and you're stuck and you're like, oh my gosh, nobody's pouring back into me. Nothing is pouring back into me. I'm doing things for short-term gratification. I'm doing things to feel numb because I don't want to. I stay busy helping others and getting involved so I don't have to feel things. That's a problem in itself. When you're not willing to have the real and honest conversation with yourself about what's keeping you dry, what's keeping you malnourished, what's keeping you unfed. That's where things should start to shift for you. The other issue with this is when you're pouring and you're overextending and you're trying to be an all-encompassing present to all the things, is as you're pouring and you're giving and you're sending, it might feel good, like to know that you've made an impact or you're making yourself available. But also, when you realize that it's a dead plant that you're watering, whatever that dead plant is, the sad reality of that is too, it's taking up space to where other blessings and other opportunities can't come into your life. I want to repeat that because I don't think you heard me the first time. When the dead plants, everything's stacking up and everything it's dried out because your cup has run empty because you've run around and you filled everybody else up and filled everything else up, and you notice stuff starts to start, even though you've watered it, it starts to dry up, it starts to shrivel up. You're still looking around and you're like, oh my God, there's all these dead plants now. There's all these dying plants. There's all these plants that maybe are still alive, but I know they're going to die at some point because I'm going to run out of water. I'm going to run out of the things that I'm pouring into. It takes up space and it takes up energy and it blocks your blessings. If you take nothing else from what I say today, take that. Take that as, is this something that is allowing blessings? Is this a connection that's allowing growth and opportunity? Or is this something that is potentially blocking my way, blocking my blessings, and blocking the good things that I know that can be on the other side for me? That hit me a couple of weeks ago. Is this a hindrance or is this a pathway to a blessing? When you start changing the way that you look at some of these dead plants, you start taking people down off their damn pedestal and you start humanizing them and making them a human and not an opportunity and not a potential thing that could happen, and you start humanizing people in situations, it's going to change the way you play the game. Promise. Over time, too, what happens is you're overextending, you're exhausted, you're going to start to feel it physically. If you don't feel it spiritually, physically, it's going to start to manifest itself. It's going to start to become painful. You're going to wake up every day and you're going to be like, oh, so-and-so needs me today. I got to do this. I got to go here. I got to do that. There's never enough time. I hear that all the time. There's never enough hours in the day. We all have the same 24 hours. So what are you doing? Where is your abundant, beautiful energy and your thoughts and your compassion? Where are you pouring that into? If you don't know, if you can't answer that, you need to do an inventory like today. Today, right now. As soon as you hop off of this, however you're listening or watching, you need to hop off of this and start literally go pen and paper with that shit and figure out where your efforts and energy are going. You do. And the reason you need to take an inventory too is because you're not aware. There's no awareness there. Your awareness is being quiet and shh right now. There's too much to do. There's too many things that have to get taken care of today. I'm going to have to reschedule this, and I'm going to have to move this so I can do this for so-and-so, and da-da-da-da. Everything becomes noisy and busy. And when that happens, your awareness, your intuition, everything is dialed down. Where should I be today? What is it that I need today? All that gets shut off and shut to the side. I actually had someone not too long ago, this past year, that actually told me it was a person, they actually told me to be quiet and stop asking questions. Guys, those are some of the most dangerous people to have in your circle. If anybody, any soul on this planet tells you to be quiet, stop asking questions. And I don't mean in a silly, playful thing, like you and your spouse are trying to figure out where to go and y'all are fighting over, are we doing Arby's or McDonald's? That's not what I mean. I mean, when you start asking intelligent questions, intentionally driven questions, and someone tells you, you just don't need to worry about that. You need to be quiet. You need to just be quiet and go along with it. That's a red damn flag if I ever seen one. That's a whole ass circus, actually. Someone tells you to be quiet and just go along with it. Baby, some of us are in our late 30s, early 40s. We're not going to go along to get along anymore. When you figure out, and you're not going to sit here and think to yourself, well, I don't think I have any dead plants in my life. I don't think you do. You absolutely do. Especially if you're here and you've taken the time and the energy to listen and watch this, you've got some dead plants. You've got some inventory and you need to clean some house. So, I say that with love. I say that with love because somewhere somebody is sitting listening to this today and they're thinking, ooh, you know what? I don't know if that's a dead plant or not. It might be, but I'm not sure. That has already been brought into question at some point in your mind, and you just needed to hear this for confirmation. This is serious business. Like, I love to laugh and goof around and make light of things. This is one thing we don't need to make light of, is watering the dead plants. It will drain you dry. It will help you turn into a person you never want to see again. So what do you need to do? I've already said inventory. Figure out where your resources are going. Ask for help. If you're not currently under the guidance of some sort of help, either psychologically, medically, professionally, whatever, you need help. You need somebody you can talk to, somebody you can trust to help you sort some of this noise out. Okay? Also, when it comes to watering dead plants, what else do you think you need to do? Think about your day-to-day life. Change your routine. Start changing and treating your time and your energy like freaking money, like currency. Start treating it like currency. The shit's expensive. Your time and your energy is expensive. It is stuff you will never get back. That is bits and pieces of you sprinkled around that you will never get back. Treat it as such. And I would also push to say you need to start shifting and focusing on the things, the people, the places, the energies that pour back into you that maybe you haven't noticed because you've been out sprinkling, making everybody else happy. All these other dead plants you're watering, you don't realize you got a watering hole back over here that's trying to fill your cup. And they're filling your cup and trying to pour into you, but you're just pouring back out into things that aren't fulfilling. And if you're going to sit here and say, man, I don't have a watering source, I don't have anything that fills up my cup, that is why you need help. You're going to need help to sort through the noise. You're going to need help to figure out and pinpoint where is your source, your watering source. What's filling you up? I don't know what's filling me up. You need help. You need to start figuring it out. Figure out what's pouring into you. Start redirecting your energy and start pouring back into that because that's what's keeping you fed and that's what's keeping you going. And if you're saying, well, the way I feel right now, I don't feel like anything or anybody's pouring back into me, that is a problem. And that's why you got to start with the inventory. And stop with the lies. Stop lying to yourself. When you're sitting here telling yourself, I'm mom of the year and I got to tote kids here and you don't understand, man. I do understand. I understand how expensive your peace can be also and what happens when it goes neglected and malnourished for a long time. Please believe. Please trust and believe I know that much. I'm not a psychological expert. I'm not an expert on a lot of things, but I do have some life experiences. I have some stories that would have you all shook that I'm not quite ready to go there yet. But you need to trust and believe. There's some things some of us almost don't come back from. So when someone is sitting here telling you, start figuring your shit out. If you want a more fulfilling life, if you want to find happiness and peace, a lot of us just want peace and to be left alone. You got to start somewhere, and it starts with accountability, and it starts with figuring out the dead plants that you're watering. I'm going to end it on there because I want you all to sit with this. Sit with this, watch it again, send it to somebody that needs it, save it, whatever you need so that this sinks into your brain. I want you to take that today. That is my gift to you. Take that. Listen to it, watch it, play it back. And just think about the things I've said here today. Guys, if you've made it this far into this almost 20-minute video, I appreciate you all. Please like, share, subscribe, and I will see you on the next episode. Take care and have a beautiful day.